Okay, so this is the closest you'll ever get to seeing me in my pajamas. And no, I wasn't too lazy to get dressed, but rather I wanted to prepare myself for the words of Jesus, for the words that Jesus speaks in our gospel lesson today. They're actually the words that came at the end of last week's reading, but I didn't get to preach on them, but they're such beautiful, beautiful words that speak to an important invitation that Jesus extends to all of us, especially to those of us who are tired, not just in body, but due to all that we've been experiencing lately, all of the stress of daily living, also tired in spirit. In today's Bible reading, we're invited to rest and to experience the life-giving renewal that comes from saying yes to this invitation. Hello, I'm Tim. I'm the pastor developer of Hope Palm Springs, a fairly new Lutheran faith community in the desert, and I want to thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, please go visit our social media, get to know us. And now before we continue with the video, I want you to do something for me. I want you to go get your pillow. That's right, the pillow from your bed. Go get it, and I'll wait till you get it. Okay, so maybe just pause the video right here and then go and get it. And then when you have it, you can hit play again. No, really, go get it. Okay, so now that you've got your pillow and I've got mine, we're all set to take Jesus up on his offer to rest. So I invite you to center your heart and your mind, your whole self on the presence of God's Spirit there with you and God's Spirit here with me. For God's Spirit intends to bring us perhaps what it is we need most. Oh, and if you happen to fall asleep during today's message, well, don't worry about it. For some of you, it won't be the first time. The important thing is that you listen to the voice of your spirit, not just the tiredness of your body, but your inner self. Is it telling you that you need to rest? Welcome to virtual worship.
I wanna know, where is this peace? I wanna know, where is this holiness? Are you there? Are you near? Do you know my every thought, my fear? It escapes me.
The Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew, the 11th chapter. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." Here ends the reading.
So there's a fun little story of an old man and his son who were walking home from town one day with their donkey. Now, as they made their way home, their neighbors began to laugh at them and ask themselves, well, why are both of them walking? I mean, one of them should be riding the donkey. Well, after much ridicule, the man placed his son on the donkey and they continued on their way. But soon the neighbors began to criticize them again, saying, "Why, look at that. The boy is making that poor old man walk while he rides the donkey. Why doesn't the boy get off that donkey and let the old man ride for a while?" Well, hearing this, the boy dismounted and the old man got on the donkey. But before long, the neighbors again began to criticize them and wondered out loud, why is that man riding the donkey and making that helpless boy walk? What kind of a man is he? Well, hearing this, the father reached down, he picked up the boy, his son, and put him on the donkey, and they both rode the donkey and continued their way home. The neighbors again complained, and they said to one another, "Why, look at that poor donkey having to carry two people on its back. Why don't they give that poor animal a break and get off of it before the animal gets hurt?" And so in desperation, the father and the son did the only thing left for them to do. They picked up the donkey and carried it on their backs the rest of the way home. Sometimes no matter what you do, you just can't win. You know, the crowd that often gathered around Jesus behaved just like those neighbors in the story. In last week's gospel reading, Jesus tells the people that they are behaving like spoiled children in the marketplace. They complain because the people around them will not dance when they play their flutes, and they will not cry when they sing sad songs. Which is why Jesus, in exasperation, says to that crowd, "To what will I compare this generation?" In Jewish terms, it would be an expression like, "Oy vey." Well, Jesus points out that the people criticized John the Baptist because John fasted and refused to drink alcohol. And then they criticized Jesus because, as Jesus puts it, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and the crowds grumbled, "Look, a glutton and a drunkard, and a friend of tax collectors and sinners." Sometimes, no matter what you do, you just can't win. I mean, Jesus seems to be saying when you look to society, when you look to others for acceptance and approval, they will seldom give you the blessing you seek. But Jesus understands that when we are caught up in a society based on what other people think of us, there are walls and there are filters that prevent us from seeing the truth, that we become so preoccupied with looking good, we can't get beyond our own skin to be concerned about anything else. And so Jesus commends those with a childlike grasp of his message, and he prays, "I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and intelligent and have revealed them to infants." Of course, infants could care less what other people think. It's as if to say that my 4-month-old granddaughter, little Harper, possesses a deeper sense of spirituality than I do, her papa. And you know what? She does. So people in Jesus' day were worn out from all the social pressure, the religious rules that were part of what had become an oppressive Jewish religion, and all the expectations of not only to earn societal approval, but God's approval as well. You know, perhaps we too carry a heavy burden of trying to earn social approval. And often when it comes to our spiritual lives, we may sense a heaviness of trying to live up to what we think are God's expectations. Throughout our lives, we bear the burden of trying to live up to what other people tell us we have to be in order to fit in. And when it comes to faith, we may think that to be a good Christian means that all these expectations are placed on us. Be good, pray more, go to church more often in days when you can actually go to church, give more money to the church. I mean, all these things we have to do, and the life of faith ends up becoming a heavy burden. And that is why the words that Jesus speaks in our reading today are so inviting. Listen to them again. Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Rest. I mean, Jesus offers an alternative to the social rules and the public opinions as the basis for our lives. Jesus is informing us that there is an alternative to all of these false truths and offers us another way. Jesus wants to teach us about a completely new lifestyle. Take your focus off what others think and focus your attention on what really matters. Jesus wants us to exchange our yoke of following under everyone else's expectations that confine and suffocate for the freedom of a different kind of yoke. And he tells us that his yoke is light and his burden is easy. Well, now a yoke would have referred to oxen who would wear this heavy harness around their necks and around their shoulders, and they would pull the plow through the hard and the rocky soil. But with Jesus, we discover that the field has already been plowed through the yoke of the cross. And what Jesus did there, we had become free. Free from expectations, free from having to be good to earn God's favor, which only makes us free to be good because we don't have to be good. We simply do it out of a pure sense of joy and response to God's goodness. The words Jesus speaks in our gospel lesson are different from any that have ever been spoken before. Instead of giving the people more rules and expectations, Jesus narrows them down. Instead of scolding the people for falling short, Jesus bends down and raises them up. Instead of telling them how angry God was with them, Jesus speaks of gentle kindness, incredible love, and beautiful forgiveness. Instead of blaming them for falling or failing in life, Jesus offers them an alternative to living a life free from oppressive expectations. The gospel message today delivers us from the yoke of impossible worldly expectations and gives us the good news that God loves us just the way we are and not as we should be, because no one watching this video is as she or he should be. And that includes the pastor. So how are you doing these days? You know, I think if we were honest, we might say that we're all doing our best just to find our way through this unusual time. I mean, there are good days and there are bad ones too. Days we see with clarity and days where we get lost in confusion. Not only are we trying to stay well and protect others, but the issues facing society are complex and troublesome. There are a lot of expectations out there. And some of the toughest and most unrealistic of expectations often come not even from others, but from our very selves toward ourselves. Expectations in your own heart of the kind of person you think you should be. Disappointed often in yourself for not handling all this COVID isolation better. Concluding even that moments of depression and sadness or even despair are indications that you are failing at managing this unprecedented and unusual time. I know I have days when I expect that I should have more energy, where I should get more done, be a more effective pastor, and I beat myself up mercilessly when I can't be the super pastor or even the super person that I think I should be. But the call of the gospel is an invitation for a gentle awareness of our humanity. If you've been riding the roller coaster of emotions and even physical signs of being under extreme stress, then know that doesn't make you dysfunctional. It actually makes you highly functional and normal. Even things like depression, despair, and a general lack of energy may simply be signs of one thing and one thing only: that you are a human being. Why is it that we place expectation upon ourselves to be anything other than that? Well, in the midst of expectations from others and from the one who is often most relentless in their criticism of how we're handling our own days, our own self, comes the invitation of Jesus to rest. Not simply rest for the body, that is important, but rest for the soul, for the spirit. I too have wanted to take that road trip to get out of my apartment and experience the beauty of a freedom that seems lately to have been taken away, a vacation. And I'll probably do that sometime soon. But did you know that the word vacation has a deeply spiritual meaning? It comes from the Latin vocatio, which means freedom from something. From the word vacation, we get the word vacate, which means to be emptied. Well, how we need time to be freed from the pressures of life, from the expectations of others, even the expectations that we place on ourselves. It's important to be able to separate ourselves from all of that and find renewal and strength and energy to be recentered and to become fortified to swim against societal pressures, sensing the approval of God and the approval of self, that I am enough and that I am okay, no matter what others think of me. For something very freeing happens to us when we quit trying to live up to everyone's expectations, including our own unrealistic expectations. Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." One of the best purchases I ever made was the mattress on my bed. I have only one complaint. It's so comfortable that I can hardly stay awake to enjoy it. Well, Jesus is that mattress, that place of rest where there is no pressure, no expectation, only love, only acceptance, only mercy and grace and unending kindness. If we were gathering in person at this point of the service, I'd instruct the ushers to hand out a bunch of pillows, because if there's any place that we should be able to rest freely, it should be in the presence of God and in the presence of our sisters and brothers who most certainly understand. Now I know some of you are thinking, the ushers should pass the pillows out before the sermon. Well, I gave you your chance today. Whether you took advantage of it or not was up to you. Worn out, tired, so tired, beaten up by the relentless world that offers less grace and less allowance for our humanness, not just our body, but our inner spirit, our inner self, the core of who we are, our essence. Take a nap this afternoon for your body, but consider also a spiritual retreat of vocatio for the dry desert of your own soul, a time and place of experiencing the freedom of life that God so wants you to know, a place of no expectation other than simply to be who and where you are. It is enough for the God who understands, the God who will love you right where you are, sometimes full of energy or tired and emotionally exhausted, even spiritually depleted. Go ahead, close your eyes, put your head on your pillow, and hear the words of Jesus. Come to me, you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest.
Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Rest well, dear ones. Amen.